My name is Ava, and I am 26 years old. I am an artist. I paint things, the precise color, the honest light, the image that makes someone looking at it feel suddenly less alone. I am good at finding beauty in things. My family never found it in me. My mum's name is Susan. She is 56 years old. She has a very clear idea of which of her daughters deserved the best of everything. It was not me. My sister Ashley is 2 years older. She is everything my mum considers worthy, beautiful, social, the kind of person who walked into every room and immediately became its center. My mum planned Ashley's entire wedding, every flower, every dress, every detail. Mine was different. I got engaged to David on a Thursday evening in October. He got down on one knee in our small apartment, and I said yes with my whole heart and immediately called my mum. She said, "That's nice, Ava." 3 words. Not, "Oh my goodness, congratulations." Not, "I am so happy for you." Not even a genuine pause to let the news land. Just, "That's nice, Ava." And then, "Have you told Ashley?" I held the phone against my ear, and I thought about all the times I had called home with good news and received, "That's nice, Ava," in return. The painting I sold at 22, my first real sale, a gallery in the city, real money for something I had made. "That's nice, Ava." The grant I received at 24 for my work, competitive, prestigious, something I had worked toward for 2 years. "That's nice, Ava." And now, my engagement. The person I wanted to spend my life with. "That's nice, Ava." I congratulated myself quietly in my own apartment and called David back and told him my mum said that's nice. He held me for a long time without saying anything. That was the right response. The wedding planning started in January. David and I sat at our kitchen table with notebooks and laptops and the specific excitement of 2 people building something together from scratch. We made lists, we looked at venues, we talked about flowers and music and the people we wanted in the room when we made our promises. I called my mum. Not to ask for help, I had learnt not to expect that, just to include her. To say, "We are thinking about this venue, what do you think?" She said she would have to check her schedule. I said okay. She never checked back. I called Ashley 2 weeks later, not to ask for help, just to include her, just to say, "We picked a date, will you be there?" Ashley said she would have to see. She would have to see. My own sister would have to see if she could make it to my wedding. I put the phone down and I went to my studio and I painted for 3 hours straight. Big, urgent paintings, the kind that come from somewhere you cannot access any other way. When I came out, David was in the kitchen making dinner, and he looked at my paint-covered hands and said nothing except, "Sit down, it's almost ready." He always knew. The invitation went unanswered for 3 weeks. Not lost. Not delayed, unanswered. I knew because my mum called me on a Tuesday, not about the wedding, about something entirely different, about a sale at a store she liked, and mentioned at the end, "Oh, we got your invitation." Just that. "We got your invitation." No, we'll be there. No, we can't wait. No acknowledgement of what the invitation was for, what it meant. Just, "We got it." I said okay. I painted for 4 more hours that night. Dorothy lived 2 floors above us in our building. 66 years old, retired librarian, with a habit of leaving things outside her door for neighbors, books she had finished, extra baked goods, once a small painting she had found at a market that she left outside our door with a note that said, "This reminded me of your work." I stood in the hallway holding the small painting, and I thought, she noticed. I knocked on her door. She opened it immediately, as if she had been expecting this. "Come in," she said. Walter made too much soup. Walter was 69, quiet, precise, a retired engineer who fixed things and built things and had the patience of someone who had spent his life working carefully. He looked up when I came in and pointed at a chair with the economy of someone who considered unnecessary words a waste of everyone's time. I sat. He put soup in front of me. I ate. Dorothy sat across from me and did not require me to explain myself or perform gratitude or be anything other than a person who had been handed a small painting that reminded someone of her work and had needed somewhere to go. "You're getting married," she said eventually. "In June," I said. "Are you happy about it?" "Yes," I said. "Very." "Good," she said. "That's the important part." Not, "How exciting, tell me everything, what are you wearing?" Just, "That's the important part." Like she had identified the essential thing and was satisfied. I looked at her across the table. "My family hasn't RSVP'd," I said. She was quiet for a moment. "How long have you had the invitations out?" 5 weeks, I said. Another quiet moment. "That tells you something," she said. "Yes," I said, "it does." Walter refilled my soup without being asked. Dorothy and Walter came to our engagement dinner in February. Not because I'd invited them, I hadn't thought to, they were neighbors, I didn't want to impose. They came because Dorothy had heard us celebrating through the ceiling and knocked on our door with a bottle of wine and said we heard good news. They stayed for 3 hours. Walter fixed our kitchen drawer that had been sticking since we moved in, got up without announcement, found our toolbox, fixed it, sat back down. Dorothy asked David questions about his work with genuine interest and remembered the answers and connected them to things she had read. My mum did not come to the engagement dinner. She said she had plans. I thought about Dorothy fixing, Walter fixing the drawer, Dorothy asking questions. The bottle of wine brought up 2 floors because they had heard good news through the ceiling. I thought about "That's nice, Ava, and we got your invitation." The difference between people who showed up and people who didn't was not complicated. It was just showing up. My family came to the wedding. Not willingly, I think that is the honest word. They came because not coming would have been a statement too large even for my mum to make comfortably. They came with the energy of people fulfilling an obligation, dressed appropriately, sitting in the right seats. My mum sat in the front row and looked at her phone twice during the ceremony. I saw her from where I was standing. I looked at Dorothy instead, sitting 3 rows back in a blue dress she had told me she bought specifically for this occasion, beside Walter, who was wearing a tie I had never seen before and who was paying attention with the focused patience he brought to everything that mattered. I looked at Dorothy. She was already looking at me. She smiled, warm and direct and entirely present. I smiled back. And then I turned to David and I said my vows, and I meant every word. My mum found me after the ceremony. She stood in front of me in the garden where we were taking photographs, and she looked at me, really looked, for perhaps the first time, and something passed across her face. Not guilt exactly, not apology, something more complicated and less resolved than either of those things. "You look beautiful," she said. "Thank you," I said. "I should have," she stopped. "I should have been more involved in the planning." I looked at my mother. "Yes," I said, "you should have." She nodded, looked at her hands. "Ashley's wedding," she said. "I got very caught up in Ashley's wedding. I didn't. Mum, I said gently. I know. A silence. I'm sorry, Ava, she said, simple and direct. I thought about Dorothy's bottle of wine brought up 2 floors, Walter's fixed drawer, the small painting left outside our door. Thank you, I said. That means something. It was not enough. It was not the mother I had needed at 22 or 24, or when I called with my engagement news and received, "That's nice." But it was real. And real, I had learnt, was always the place to start. I am 26 years old. I paint things. I find beauty in light and colour and the precise image that makes someone feel less alone. I have David, who held me for a long time when my mum said that's nice and always knows when to say nothing except sit down, it's almost ready. I have Dorothy, who left a small painting outside my door because it reminded her of my work. Who brought wine up 2 floors because she heard good news through the ceiling. Who said that's the important part, like she had identified the essential thing. I have Walter, who fixed our kitchen drawer and wore a tie I had never seen before to our wedding and paid attention with the focused patience of someone who understood that paying attention was the whole point. I have a wedding that happened in June in a garden with people who showed up because they wanted to be there. My mum said sorry in that garden. Late and real and something to work with. I am learning, slowly, imperfectly, to work with it. And I paint. Every day I paint. The precise color, the honest light, the image that makes someone feel less alone. Because that is what I know how to give. And I give it without waiting for anyone's permission anymore. If you are watching this, and your family treated your milestones like inconveniences, if you called with good news and received "that's nice" in return, if your invitations went unanswered, if you watched your sister's wedding get planned with love while yours got 3 words, I want to say something. Your milestones mattered. Your engagement mattered. Your wedding mattered. Your painting sold at 22 mattered. Every single thing you achieved that was met with silence or "that's nice" or "we'll have to see," it mattered. It was real. It deserved celebration. Find your Dorothy. Find the person who brings wine up 2 floors because they heard good news through the ceiling. Who leaves things outside your door because they noticed. Who says that's the important part, like they have already identified what matters. And celebrate yourself. Loudly, without waiting for permission. If this story reached you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Tell me where you are watching from. Tell me if your family also said "that's nice." I read every comment. Your milestones mattered. They always did.